Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's weekly energy boost. Today, Eitan and I are talking about and sharing with you how to change your destiny. And this is a topic that we get questions from listeners all the time, questions from students and even people who've been studying spirituality and Kabbalah for years. It's not always clear to us what destiny is and if it's even meant to be changed. So because this week the universe is broadcasting a unique opportunity, in a way, a portal is opening for all of us to take our trajectory to another level. And when we look at our lives and think, well, what would I do differently? If I had a blank slate, what would I create? What would I add? What would I leave? There's always this question of how much is it even in my control to make those decisions? So today we want to talk about what it means to shift one's destiny. What are the tools that Kabbalah teaches are at our disposal for making important changes, and what really the unique gift of this week is. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we provide our listeners with the most powerful practical tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that through the teachings and the wisdom of Kabbalah, so that every episode affords you with the wisdom and tools that you can use not only this week, but really any week of the year, any year of your life. And every time we come to this week's energy and what the Zohar teaches about this week and what we can do with that energy, it's usually connected to before, after, around the new moon of Scorpio, which was just this past weekend, Friday and Saturday. And so there is this energy of creating breakthroughs, of making a shift. And also, that's one thing that Scorpios are really good with, or really good at, is creating new things. If you want to get a task done, a Scorpio is a very thorough personality to get things done. So there's this energy of there's rules, there's ways to do things, there's a task at hand, and there's a focus. But then at the same time, we have the opportunity to rise above the paved road in front of us and make a 180 if we want, make a 90-degree turn. And this is really what we want to talk about this week, is how do we navigate the changes that we seek to create, especially the ones that seem the most difficult or solid parts that are most difficult to break loose from. So, Eitan, the topic of destiny versus free will, there's so many questions that come up, even for those of us that are already on a spiritual journey and trying to live a life of change and transformation. How do we use this week's energy to create that kind of breakthrough?
I think, as you said, Elisheva, the first question is, what does it mean, change of destiny? And what's the relationship between the ancient saying that everything is predetermined, yet we have free will? So the Zohar and the ancient Kabbalists tells us that when we are born, based on previous lifetimes and based on our unique soul purpose, we have many, many, many potential destinies, which ultimately the goal is to reach our soul purpose. Each one of us is a unique soul and unique way to express pure giving, pure love, pure connection to the Creator. Now, today, we have a destiny. A destiny means the life script of how every aspect of my life is. My family, my sign of the zodiac, challenges that I have, health issues that I have, issues with some friends that I have, business situation. It's one track destiny. The Zohar tells us There's a parallel destinies better than this one, and better and better and better. Imagine there's 100 parallel destiny in every given moment, and I'm tuning to one of them, and all of them are written already. But what is my free will? To be able to use some tools and how to access the better destiny, the better life story that already existing. For example, a person having a major health issue that based on doctors and based on a regular, normal, logical process, it's very difficult to achieve healing, or it might take years and years and years. Kabbalistically, in this very moment, there's the parallel destiny that you're already healthy. Or in another situation, in this very moment, there's a parallel destiny that you're already successful, that you found your soulmate, that you're expressing your purpose already, which you were unclear in the present destinies. So the real first consciousness is, number one, in this very moment, there's a more elevated life script of my own movie, of my own reality, which I would like to elevate myself to access, to connect. And the question is, which is the next discussion, what are the specific tools to shift to a better destiny? Better destiny means reality of more fulfillment, less chaos, less suffering, that I'm able to be more in touch with my soul, with being purposeful, being more in a state of love, being more in a state of trusting and surrendering and letting my soul consciousness or the light of the Creator guide me in my life instead of my ego.
Is that different, though, from the aspects of my life script? I like that phrase, the script of my life's movie. Aren't there certain aspects or ingredients that need to be there, regardless of which version of my movie that I'm in?
I think each one of us have our own unique purpose. So if you are meant to be a channel to inspire people in your movies, in your various scripts, to inspire people to change, to improve, so you're not going to be a basketball player in one of your movies because it's all relating to your specific gift and your specific things that you meant to channel in this world. So it's a very important question that you're asking, because very often people hear the phrase, just imagining it, or just think big, think unlimited. I want to think unlimited based on what belongs to my soul. I don't want to think unlimited based on comparing to other people. It's important to look at other people, to be inspired, to be the best version of myself, to access the best life script of me.
I'm thinking about different individuals that I know or that I've worked with in the past that in their words said, I have a hard destiny. A person who doesn't have any long-term relationships, or sometimes it comes in the package of a child with a specific challenge, or even living in a country or a city that has unique challenges and not being able to leave for whatever reason. What about the aspects of our lives that don't seem like it's in our control to change it?
So, number one, indeed, certain things we have control about, certain things we don't have direct control about. So, for example, the fact that I was born to a certain family, even though it's not directly in my control, but Kabbalistically, it's the Creator and my soul decided that in order to reveal and to learn the lessons I came to learn in this world based on previous lifetimes and based on my unique potential, I need to face certain challenges. I need to face a family, for example, that were somehow abusive, emotionally or else or otherwise. So step number one of actually shifting anything in our life is accepting that the very destiny and the very reality that I'm facing in my life, it is exactly what I need to face, and it's for my best. And after that acceptance, and knowing that is the universe, it's not random, and the universe and my soul place me in this reality in order to reveal my true potential, and that it's different than someone else, and maybe it looks harder than someone else. After that acceptance, I'm ready, but I'm ready to shift to the better version of my life that is available in this very moment.
So maybe you can clarify the difference between acceptance and, I don't know if the right word is surrender, because surrender, it can be from a very powerful place. But a lot of people, when they have a difficult situation in their lives, they kind of throw their hands up and say, well, what can I do? I can't change it. And I don't know that, it can feel like, well, I'm just accepting it's going to be a part of my life. But when you say acceptance, it sounds like a very proactive and inspired acceptance, not well, I can't do anything about it anyway, so I might as well accept it.
Yeah, so it's a very good question, because last night I gave a lecture here in Miami, and someone gave example that, they know some people that their attitude about life, stop pushing me to change. That's who I am. That's my life. Accept me the way I am. And that's actually a negative spin on acceptance. So the negative spin of acceptance is, I don't want to change. I don't want to improve. That's what my life is all about. I'm actually afraid of change. And even though I have some chaos in the present destiny that I'm living in, but I'm afraid of change. So that's negative view around acceptance. We don't want to accept. We always want to move towards the unlimited and my next level. Because why? Why do we? Because the Creator is endless. And if you're just accepting limiting life, you'll never be happy, because there's no alignment between you and the Creator, because the Creator is endless. So actually the only way I can get closer to the Creator if I desire improvement and change all the time. So I need movement towards the endless. Now, at the same time, change. Everything has to be different in my life can cause anxiety if you take it to extreme. So you're never present. It's all about, I have to change. Everything is wrong. You're starting to look at life from a place of lack. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. I have to change. Sometimes people study spirituality, they start to get to the idea, I'm flawed and I have to change. And it's very tricky, because change happens when you are able to find joy in the present moment, and then tell the Creator, please, I'm ready to go to my next level. What else can I do? And I'm open myself to the unknown, because change, consciously or subconsciously, is a little scary. So it's very delicate. Accept the present moment, being able to find joy in the moment, and surrender means I'm surrendering to the light, and I'm trusting that this moment is valuable and essential to take me to the next level. In order to jump high with the jumping board, okay, you need to actually touch the jumping board. And when you actually go with the jumping board, first you're going a little lower. and then you jump high. So you need to be fully present with the present moment that very often feel low and painful and undesirable, but for the sake of jumping higher.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, or it can be tricky, like you said, when the thing that you want to change about your destiny is a person or a situation that doesn't necessarily seem in your control. There's also the barrier or the blockage that comes from believing, and I see this a lot in the work that we do with students. They have a subconscious belief maybe that life needs to be hard, or that relationships are suffering, or that if you're not struggling, you're not doing anything impactful. Like struggle is a sign of value and contribution. And at the same time, we come to moments in our life and we look at not only the situation or the circumstance, but simply how we feel, that we're day in, day out, everything looks the same, and we are uninspired, or we're tired. I think a lot of people get tired of struggling or being alone or dealing with undesirable circumstances. How can we dig deeper and shift those perceptions about, like you said, you meet people and they say, this is just how it is. God doesn't want me, my favorite one. God doesn't want me to be happy. God doesn't want me to find a partner. How can we find those subconscious, deeper, conflicting beliefs that are preventing us from using the jumping board to get to the next level?
Yeah, I think always, very often we stuck in seeing the small picture of coming from my own subjective perception, because we don't really ask simple question. The source of the universe. What does he really want me? There's only one desire for the light, the source of all good, the energy of the Creator. To elevate me, to become closer to him. What does it mean practically? To give me the tools, the spirit, the energy, to become more unlimited, more fulfilled, more connected to purpose, more connected to giving, more connected to true joy, more connected to inspiring joy in other people. So you need to ask yourself, really, am I connected to my unlimited version, happier version, inspiring fulfillment in other people version that I meant to? And all of us, if we're really honest with ourselves, there's always next level. And actually, change connects in a way to humility. Why? It's a paradox. But why change connects to humility? A lot of people think humility is when I'm doing amazing things and I say, no, I don't want the credit. Yes, I am amazing, but it's okay. I don't want to show off. That's not true humility. You know what's true humility? Let's say you are doing amazing thing. Number one, you know the source, because you know the flow of the blessing and the strength and the energy came from the Creator. But number two, because you're so honest and you feel deep inside there's so much more unlimitedness that you can express. We all, if we're truly honest, we know there's so much next level of giving, next level of being impactful. We all have spark of that. So I don't have time to think how great I am. I'm craving to actually go to my next level. That was beautiful what I just done with the help of the Creator. But I want to leverage it just to go to my next level. So if you're really humble and open to see the truth, there's so much more you meant to do. And the Kabbalah is always telling us, and it's essential to know, that there's so much more light I can connect, happiness I can achieve, true fulfillment I can get, major impact I can create, because our soul is extension of the Creator. And there's a saying, a great person doesn't create little things. A great creator doesn't create little souls, great souls. So each one of us meant to be great and elevated. And as much as we unlimited, this is just the first step to the next level.
It's so interesting because we received an email from a listener, very long email from a listener this week, asking about something similar, and I was going to sit down and answer it. And now I realize that this episode is really all about the question that she's asking. And I want to pose it to you, pose it to our listeners, and then maybe we can find the nugget not only for her, but I believe there's a lot of people out there that are struggling. And the nutshell is the thing that here, I can read the summary of her email is, she's afraid she's chasing a dream that's not hers, a life that isn't meant for her, a person she wishes to become that isn't meant for her to become. How can this be when she feels in her bones that everything that she wishes to be and the life she wishes for herself seems right, yet it seems like the universe is not allowing her to have it, that she feels that she's not supported by the universe, that she puts her blood, sweat, and tears into what she's working on. It's her deepest desire, and it's been a lifelong career, and she's a lifelong dream, and she's focused her career on it, but she has no support in it whatsoever. Like every turn that she makes, she feels there's a blockage, that something is in her way. And at first read, there's a lot of questions about fear. She's asking about negative seeds that she's planted in this lifetime and in previous lifetimes, that even though she has the wisdom and access to the tools and teachings of Kabbalah, and, that her mission or her dream is one that's positive, that can benefit people, that's about creating and beauty and goodness, and yet nothing works. Like for the last 15 years, she's not made any progress whatsoever. What can we share with listeners who are working on something, pushing towards something that no matter what they do does not seem to take off? And how does that connect to destiny? Because part of what we talk about, she knows, she's been listening for years. She said, I know the concept of tikkun, and I know that there's certain elements to our lives that we ask for before coming down to the world, because that's what's going to help us fulfill our soul's mission. How can it be that there is a block in this pathway that I'm on?
That's a great question, because even as my destiny as a teacher, Kabbalah teacher, in the last almost 40 years, I'm constantly trying and open for the universe to show me different pathways and ways to spread Kabbalah and to reach the masses and to connect with the certain people. And I'm constantly have requests to be here and to be there, and I need to know where do I need to spend my energy. And one of the things that I'm doing daily in my morning meditation, the beginning of my day, I'm really asking the universe, asking the light, please show me what I'm supposed to do. Who am I supposed to talk to? Where do I supposed to inject my energy? And I'm really open. And I'm open to see that maybe where I'm putting my energy and my plan doesn't really work, because I want to make sure I'm aligned to your plan. And from my experience, when I'm actually coming from place of truth and not ego, and I'm really, in one hand, I have a desire to do more, but at the same time, I want to make sure I'm aligned to the destiny which is my next level, that meant for me, answers will come. Either will be rejection that will show me, don't put energy there, or sometimes will be some challenges that just pushing me to actually push further. So the question, how do you know? For me, what work? If I truly desire the clarity from the Creator, and that's my priority. I don't want to spend energy because I like this particular dream. I want to spend energy to come to the dream that belongs to my soul. When I'm asking in truth and not one day, every day, things becoming clear. Things becoming clear.
I know that sometimes it's just a shift in consciousness that really unlocks what seems to be blocked. And I know that sounds so simple, but it's so true. I've met so many people over the years that created an internal shift that resulted in a shift and a breakthrough externally. So I can't emphasize enough the importance of what you shared, that it really is, it can really be sometimes as simple as making a different request, having a different conversation with the light of the Creator, being internally different, and that reflects outwards. There was one small thing that I wanted to bring up because it's a question I get constantly, and I'm sure you've had it as well. And the roots of this teaching are actually in this week's section of Zohar, is that sometimes people say, well, maybe the reason that this situation is blocked, or I'm not making any progress, or I'm not successful here, is because it's so funny. I just had a conversation with someone yesterday about it, that she said she's going to move to New York from LA. She said, I'm not meeting my soulmate here. I don't vibe with the people here. Even though I don't want to live in New York, I'm going to go and look for soulmate in New York. I'm going to move there for a while. And there is this, on one hand, teaching that when you move, you do change your destiny. There is an aspect of a shift. And I want to dig up for 2 minutes, just a little deeper in this. How does it work when you move? What actually changes? But that if you have work to do in your own path of growth and transformation, moving does not move that which you need to work on. That the work follows you to New York or to Paris or to wherever it is that you think the answers might lie, or a better reality might exist. If you stay the same person and you move to Paris, the same patterns will follow you to Paris, but at the same time. And this is what I want to hear from you. How does moving where you physically are impact your destiny?
So I look at this moving, it's like a person decide to divorce and to change their life completely, and hopefully to meet someone better, let's say, okay? So what I've learned with experience with many people, if a person leaves the relationship with certain anger and unresolved, they'll take it with them to the next relationship. So ultimately, real divorce, which sometimes it's the right thing to go to the next chapter in a person's life, has to happen not from blame. After I've learned many lessons in my life, I'm able to thank my partner for the period we were together, but I see that there's no longer benefit for both of us of being together. But if there's still resentment and anger, I'm taking it with me to the next relationship. And I'm not actually ready for the next level. The same thing is about moving from one place to another. Absolutely, different places have different energies, different friends, different environment. And each one of us in a soul level can blossom more in one place more than another place? Absolutely yes. But are you running away? Or you coming from place, I did my best, I'm accepting. If it's needed, I would stay here, but I have an urge to go to that place. It's such a delicate, which there's no book that tells you, yeah, that's the time to move. That's not. You need to be so honest with yourself, the creator. I really want a sign not to see what I want to see. I want really to make sure I'm coming from the right place. So sometimes we have no choice about it, because in order to continue with that job, you need to move to the next place. So sometimes the universe is actually pushing you to the next place for whatever. That's part of your journey of tikkun, the journey of correction that you have. But sometimes when you make proactive, make sure you're not coming from escaping, because escaping is thinking small. Always ask yourself, am I coming from a place of going to my next level? Because change of destiny means change towards the unlimited. So the same thing is about relationship. I can't stand it. It's too much pain. I need a relief from pain, or it's because I'm ready to go to my next level.
Right. One is short term, like running away is short-term solution, long-term problem. Really being in that space of honesty. And to me, that's one of the hardest things about this path, is to really be honest with yourself and peel back all the layers of you should and you shouldn't, and where you thought you'd be and where you wanted to release all of that to see what's really there. It's very difficult work, but at the same time, it eliminates so much of the future problems by dealing with what's best in the long term, for the sake of elevating, for the sake of going to the next level in my purpose, not only for me personally, but as far as every other situation and who I'm meant to meet and connect with and affect into the future. So absolutely. That was a very powerful. I'm excited to see how it's received in the world. I think it's a message that a lot of people need to hear, especially right now, that the short-term solutions are not really helping anybody except for that momentary relief. And that if we really want lasting solutions and lasting change, honesty, acceptance, welcoming, being open, that's the way. That's really beautiful. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
The last thing I want to share, so when we're talking about change to our next level, has to be unknown factor to the change. If not, it's too controlling. Real change has to have unknown factor, because the unknown factor is God, it's the light. And if change is about my plan, controlling the scenario, it's limited. It's the dream of the ego, it's not the dream of the soul. The dream of the soul, as in the equation, the unknown factor, because part of change is greater surrender to the partnership with the Creator.
Yeah, the to-do list. First, this is going to happen, and then that's going to happen, and then that's going to happen, and then this person's. That's what you mean when you say controlled change, right?
Exactly.
That's a good reminder as we go into this month of Scorpio, and the tendency for all of us is going to be to maintain control, awareness, what's going on, everything is happening in the right way, in the right, like you said, it's subjective. So we want to be open to the unlimited possibilities and not the single possibility that we're focused on. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Let's remind everyone, Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We also have a website, weeklyenergyboost.com, where you can read more about the things we're talking about. You can also go to weeklyenergyboost.com and click the donate button to support our podcast. But really, the best way to support what we do here is to share this episode, not only with people who you know are excited to hear it, but to take that risk and to share it with someone who needs to hear it, but might not realize how badly they need to hear it. We hear from people all the time that somebody sent it to them, or they don't even remember who sent it to them. And the impact that you have when you do that is really immeasurable. So thank you for doing that. And we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.
So good, it worked out.